You big yellow bastard!
Where'd you get your sleep?
Jesus Christ.
One gather, two alley.
This is the Dave Duke podcast.
Well, 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 said the man when he found water in the ground. How are things with you? Hands up, apologies, I've fucked up. No episode last week. We're straight on to episode 10 of the Dave Duke podcast. I'm Dave Duke. Thank you for being here. Why was there no podcast last week? Due to foreseen circumstances. I let outside controls, outside work, get on top of me when it came to the podcast, and I didn't do enough in time to have time to record on Wednesday, and then the weekend was gigging. I am so sorry. I apologise. Do not think that this is going to be the start of things to come where it's Mr. Inconsistent. I wrote a song. Maybe that'll make up for it. That's one of the things I was doing last week when I didn't record a podcast episode for you. I wrote a song. This is how it was played out on iRadio. I was telling Fanula that everything's going to be alright. It doesn't matter that your friends are gone to Australia. It doesn't matter immigration feels like an all-time high. We can make plans without them.
Guess who's gone? Gone again. Guess who's gone? It's your friends. Guess who's gone? 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 The whole lot of them. Australia, America, Canada, Dubai, Thailand, New Zealand, England, it's grand to have some plans for a summer. And they go like this. Go to Emerald Park with your family assembled. Get up in Custer Q, Cullen, Bryn, neighbour Mick Mullen. Travel now to the Ballyraggart Fair. Ride the waltzers if you dare. Onto the sea for the open air. Feel the life of a billionaire. How about a church for a little prayer? Play Love Generation Bob Sinclair. Now you're on the road to a 90 in 100 zone cause you drive mighty. All your mates might have flighty. It's okay, let's watch Bruce Almighty. Take off your top and bathe in the sun. Did you ever think of a 5k run? Immigration can't stop our summer fun. How about a bit of all one-on-one? None of these up to your standard? My plans now feel slandered, but it's okay, it's alright. I have more ideas, they're just in sight. Ever think of a 5k run in the evenings, Vanilla? No?
No.
You're not a runner?
Not for me.
It's okay, I've got more plans. How about these? We could enter the Rose of Tralee, travel to Cavan and taste their brie, visit Armagh City Centre. Summer plans, I'm the inventor. I will not accept a dissenter. I refuse to hear a lamenter when every opportunity at the end of the day has only us two standing in the way. I know your argument, you say cliche, but have you ever read the slide at Hudson Bay? Visit my grandmother, she's called May. She'd love to give us a cup of tea. I know you missed them, your mates are gone on Byron Bay Beach, lying in a thong. Even Lazy John flew to Hong Kong and he used to be fond of the bong. But hey, what's the use of dwelling when it's your summer? I'm for telling. Now you have me yelling. Is my song not compelling?
I'm a good rapper, haven't I? I'm actually decent. Got a good flow. I'm a great lyricist. And I'm great at blowing smoke up my own hole too. Please accept that song as somewhat of an apology for there being no episode last week to the podcast. Once again, foreseen circumstances. Didn't get on top of the work. We carry on. We move. Onwards and upwards and forwards. And by the way, it was my Granny May's birthday and we had a beautiful dinner on Sunday just gone by in Dorian's Hotel in Ballyshannon in County Donegal. The decor has not changed in that hotel from the 1980s, but the food is fucking banging. Excelente, service excelente, gravy excelente, the price of drink excelente. They still have old Heineken pint glasses from 2006, 2007. It's just an old school spot with good food. So shout out Dorian's Hotel, shout out Nana May, who had a big randy birthday, and shout out to you for being here, and the now strong club of 125 five-star reviewers. Thank you very much. Today I want to speak to you about Phillip Schofield. Oh, that's dodgy, Dave. Oh, dangerous territory. Oh my God, be careful what you say about Phillip Schofield and Holly Wallaby. Are you sure you want to be talking about that? Yes. Yes, I am. It's of great importance and of great interest to me and presumably you. But if you're unfamiliar with the situation, Phillip Schofield was having an affair with a young fella who was working in ITV, but he was saying that he wasn't at the young fella, but he was at the young fella, and that it was legal. Oh, it was legal, don't worry now. Might be frowned upon, but it was legal, and the shit has hit the fan since that. But before we jump into the now, we must know the before and the past. Because these things just don't rear their ugly head overnight. No, sometimes they take time. And this one certainly did take its sweet-ass time. Give me a second to explain to you the history of Phillip and Holly. 2006, they started first working together on ITV's Dancing on Ice. 3 years later, it's Phil and Holly on This Morning, ITV's This Morning. And they had a great relationship. They created some wonderful moments. They would come after the TV awards in the dresses and suit that they wore the night before and pretend they were drunk, and everyone thought it was hilarious. The Gio de Campo. If my mother had bicycle wheels should have been the bike. All those moments, explained very poorly by me, got millions of hits on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. They became British icons. ITV's This Morning became as important in British television as The Late Late Show is in Irish television. A cultural British institution. This Morning. Big fucking deal to host that show. Everything went swimmingly. And then, just before the pandemic, in 2020, Phillip has to tell us something. What is it, Phillip? Tell us your news. Tell us your story. I'm gay. The nation holds its breath. Phillip Schofield is gay. He comes out on This Morning. Holly is to the left. Phillip is to the right. That is the position of where an interviewee would be. It's very important in TV that the person doing the interviewing is to your left as you're viewing, and the person who's being interviewed is to the right. It's dynamics, it's psychological, but it makes sense. So Phillip is being interviewed, and it takes 13 minutes. I'm going to skip towards the end because this is some of the interesting parts, and some parts that, in retrospect and looking back now, they're interesting.
And this was the day that I knew that everything was pointing towards.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
I could not have done it if it hadn't been you.
Hadn't been you, Holly. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I could be gay.
So afterwards, I don't know. But no, there's no one. I'm not rushing out.
Wait. Holly Willoughby, drop a clanger, why don't you?
To anybody.
Well, whatever happens in the future, I'll be sat by your side.
Fucking lies, Holly. Lies. Lies? Why did you tell lies? Whatever happens, baby, I'll always be by your side. Unless things get difficult, then I won't be, and I'll fuck you under the bus. Bye, Phillip. Bye. I'll be by your side. On the road, when they're picking your skull off the Tarmacadam because I've fucked you under the bus, I'll be by your side, Phillip.
Either here, in fact, come and sit here now, where you should be.
Give me a hug.
It feels too weird. And I'll be by your side forever.
Lies.
Thank you, my darling, so much.
Ever and ever.
Lies. Why did you double down so much? It was like you knew what you're going to do to poor Phillip. Fuck him under the bus. Right. Phillip. Gay. Under the bus. Right. Not saying Holly Willoughby is homophobic at all. I'm actually retracting that statement completely. I don't think she is at all. Just it's a bit funny how over the top she was, like, I'll be by your side. 3 years later, fuck off, Philip. Bye, Philip. Bye.
Need you as well. We need
So you need you as is pointing down the camera lens. Me and you. You.
We're all part of this family. Our family are here.
Family.
Eamon and Ruth, come in.
Eamon and Ruth. Oh, big hugs, big claps. So that was the day. That was the show that Phillip Schofield came out. And everyone was happy for him, including I. You felt a little bit for his family, as he explained in that. Very difficult for them to process. But for Philip himself, I am a true believer that whoever you are, you should be able to live that life. Unless you're a murderer. If you identify as a murderer, then, you can't live that life. But if you're gay or bi or trans or whatever, you should be able to live your life. I believe in that. And I was happy for Philip. Moving on to where it all started to go wrong. And I am a believer that it wasn't Philip coming out as gay that unravelled his career and his life. Q-Gate. Queen Elizabeth II killed Phillip Schofield's career. Why, Dave? Because I'll tell you why. September 2022, Queen Elizabeth dies. Bong. Gone. R.I.P. to the Queen you used to be. Sorry, Queen Lizzie. You've had your go. Thank you. Fair play. Great life. Very interesting. Everyone is in mourning. Britain is in mourning. When I say everyone is in mourning, I mean Britain. Most of them. A good few of them. A lot of people were mourning. And a queue starts to form as she's about to lie in state. People want to pay their respects to their sovereign. Walk by the casket, nod, out the door. No Irish wake, no whiskey, no tea or coffee or sandwiches or little cakes or buns or crack or bit of session, bit of Caelia. None of that crack. Come in and bow and fuck off. But people were queuing for crazy amounts of hours. Even David Beckham, big balls himself, turns up. Yeah, I used to play football and I love my queen. Make me sick, why don't you, David? And I loved you as a footballer. But you're an awful lick arse. He's queuing with the people and he's taking selfies and photos and he's talking to journalists, even though he's taking blood money from Qatar to promote their World Cup, even though so many migrant workers were killed in terrible conditions, human rights abuses. But it's okay. Don't worry about David Beckham getting blood money. He queued to see the dead Queen, so he's a great lad. Let him go. And as the nation of Britain, and some people further afield, are fawning over David Beckham, falling in love with him for the first time, maybe falling in love with him again, a photo emerges from the Queen lying in state with Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby walking by. And red flags immediately are raised. How the fuck did they get in there? They skipped the queue. Those bastards. And once that was thought by one, it was thought by many, and the two of them were fucked. Because the more they protested that this was a legitimate filming for ITV's This Morning, the more people said, well, David Beckham queued. Surely ye could have too. Even though it makes perfectly logistical sense that if you're doing something for television or media, that you get to skip queues. Maybe that is my school of thought. But you can't take 27 hours to make a bit of TV when you're going to be on the next morning. Skip the queue. But David Beckham had fucked them, because they put them at the same level People couldn't get into their minds that this was for a TV piece. The more they argued that, the more it went against them. And since September 2022, Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby were not looked upon as UK sweethearts. They were not looked upon as, oh my God, the perfect Ant and Dec couple, male and female, on TV, on Dancing on Ice, on ITV's This Morning, social media bits, they're on adverts. The whole mirage unravelled. Think of all the goodwill that there is in this country for Michael D. Higgins, our president, Il Presidente, Uachtaráin na hÉireann. That's what they had in Britain. No exaggeration. Now, can you imagine Uachtaráin na hÉireann, Michael D. Higgins, being absolutely despised by most of the country all at once? That is what happened to them essentially overnight. And since that moment, since Qgate, skipping to see the Queen, dead, things have taken an awful turn for them. They had started to retract a bit of credibility. ITV's This Morning was going well, but then poor Philip's brother turns out to be an awful pedo. And I say that with no qualms because he is a convicted paedophile. And he was away for a bit in March and April. He took time off for the trial. His brother went down for sex crimes. Philip comes back and says, as far as I'm concerned, my brother's an awful pedo. I no longer have a brother. So Phillip Schofield comes back after his brother becomes a convicted paedophile. And his first show back after a good while off is Monday the 17th of April. This is the first show after the Easter break. Holly Willoughby should be there, but we're told, oh, sorry, Holly's not back. It turns out she's got shingles. But eventually they do reunite. But in the middle of May, the Sun reports that, oh, there's a bit of a rift. There's a bit of animosity between Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby. They're barely speaking. They're going in and they're smiling and they're making human contact with each other on the ITV This Morning couch, and everything looks grand. But behind the scenes, shit is not grand. And this rumbles on. The next day, the 11th of May, Phillip Schofield gives the Sun newspaper a statement. And he says, Phillip Schofield, to Holly Willoughby, you've been my rock. The last few weeks haven't been easy for us. As I've said before, Holly is my rock. We're the best of friends. She's an incredible support on screen, behind the scenes and on the phone. Holly has always been there for me through thick and thin, and I've been there for her. But Holly Willoughby goes apeshit. This fucker is after telling the world that we are all A-OK, and I don't feel like that. So Holly Willoughby is pissed that Phillip Schofield has told everybody, we're grand, we're fucking sound. Holly Willoughby is my friend, my rock, my support. Holly Willoughby is already trying to fuck Phillip Schofield under the bus. And this lasts for all of 9 days. And then on Saturday, the 20th of May, Phillip Schofield announces, I'm gone. You know the way I told you on the 11th of May that me and Holly Willoughby was getting on sound? Well, it's 9 days later, and I've actually decided I'm going to step down from This Morning, and the best of luck, and good luck. Good luck now. Now, I'll still be doing bits on ITV, but I just won't be doing This Morning. The next day, we're told that Hammond and O'Leary will take over. Alison Hammond, and a very good looking man, Mr. O'Leary. He is, fair play to him. They're going to take over for the next few weeks. Holly Willoughby won't be back until the 5th of June. Then on the Monday, there's a tribute from Dermot O'Leary and Alison Hammond to Schofield. It lasts of all of 40 seconds.
Morning.
Hello and welcome to Mondays This Morning.
Now, we can't start today's show without paying tribute to the man who spent the last 2 decades sitting on the This Morning sofa, Phillip Schofield.
So, as a show, everyone on and off screen at ITV and This Morning want to say a huge thank you to Phil for what he's done to make the show such a success over the last 21 years.
Quite simply, we all know he's one of the best live television broadcasters this country has ever had. And we and all the team wish him all the best for the future.
Yeah. So, Holly's now taking a break over half term. She'll be back in the studio in 2 weeks on Monday, the 5th of June.
We're both going to be here throughout the morning. Here's what we've got coming up.
And then on Friday, the 26th of May, Phillip Schofield says, "Well, lads, I'm back again. Remember that time I came out as gay? What I didn't tell you at that stage was that I was having an affair with a much younger man, and that I won't be doing anything on ITV now, and I'm basically stepping away from TV. Good luck again." What? 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 ITV then are out. Oh, well, fuck. Yeah. Well, we seen like what you seen, that he was gay, but we didn't actually know that he acted on it. And we asked him before, "Are you writing this young fella?" And he said no. Gee, we're as dumbstruck as you. I can't believe this has happened. And essentially that's where we are now. Phillip Schofield had a rendezvous, an affair with a much younger man, and that he was, what is the word? He was an adulterer. I'm missing the word now. Fuck, that's annoying me. Adulterer. Infidelity? Infidel? Infidel sounds more like he's a terrorist. Infidels! Oh my God! Infidel. Basically, there was infidelity in his marriage with the woman. God love her. But I just thought that was automatically assumed when he came out as gay 3 years ago. Did anyone else think that? Not about having the affair with a much younger man, which he said was legal. Let me get the exact wording before Phillip Schofield's lawyers. Oh, yes. In Phillip Schofield's statement, he said he was deeply sorry for lying about the relationship to ITV, his colleagues, friends and agents. "I did have a consensual on-off relationship with a younger male colleague at This Morning. Contrary to the speculation, whilst I met the man when he was a teenager and was asked to help him get into television, it was only after he started to work on the show that it became more than just a friendship. That relationship was unwise, but not illegal. It is over now." So it was legal, but unwise. Very unwise, Phillip. Very unwise indeed. Many's a man's Mickey has got them into phenomenal trouble, and it turns out Phillip Schofield is no different. So as we stand now, Holly Willoughby is meant to be back on Monday, 5th of June, happy front and centre, but I don't see that happening. It's going to be very hard to come back, especially with all the animosity that is being shown towards her on social media. Good example is if you go to her Instagram, previous posts, few hundred comments, say 500, 600, that's the norm. The last one that she put up on the 18th of May has 4,700 comments, and most of them are saying, "Don't come back. You knew. You aided and abetted Phillip Schofield. You allowed him to have this relationship with a young fella. It's not right." What's your opinion on the whole lot? What do you think? Personally, I think it was fucked up. Your man clearly was underage when Phillip Schofield met him. Whether he waited until he was legal and then made his move, or he never intended to make a move, and then it just happened that he was illegal when he did get with him, I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Just a bit too much of an age gap for me to be comfortable with it. Al Pacino is having children at mad ages, so is Robert De Niro. Horny fucks. Personally, I do hope I have the energy when I'm their ages, into my 60s and 70s. But you also hope that it wouldn't be with someone so young. So we wait and see. There might be updates next week. If so, I'll bring them to you. But I'd be interested in your opinion. Have you been following this story? Have I explained it well enough to you? Do you feel you have a better understanding than you did before of what is happening? Please God, you do. Manny's a sexual organ has got us in trouble as a species. And long will that continue. Mickeys and vaginas and everything in between have ruined careers, livelihoods, dare I say nations. Time for the gospel. The gospel according to Dave. A letter from Dave Duke to the podcast. Conor McGregor is a fucking clown. That concludes today's podcast. Go in love to the Lord and serve the podcast well. There may be a longer Conor McGregor gospel at a further date, but I don't have the energy nor the capacity to tell you my true thoughts on Conor McGregor after trying to explain to you Phillip Schofield's predicament and situation that he finds himself in. Holly too. Holly's in a bit of a predicament as well, but I feel she's not in as much of a predicament as Phillip is. Questions for the podcaster known as Dave Duke. Would you eat a spoon of coleslaw if it meant you could host/present the Eurovision? Andrew, that is one of the best questions I've received on the Dave Duke podcast. That is a thinker. I don't know where my balance is between my hatred of coleslaw and my love of Eurovision. I'd hate to go against my own morals by eating a spoon of coleslaw. I'm trying to weigh out, would the torture of the coleslaw be worth the elation and the jubilation of presenting Eurovision? Andrew. Now, fuck coleslaw. Fucking, if I can't do the Eurovision without eating a thing of coleslaw, then fuck Eurovision. Fuck Eurovision only because coleslaw fuck off coleslaw. That's what I'm trying to say. No, I won't. If you were to offer it to me tomorrow, I would still say, I'd love to present Eurovision, but no thank you coleslaw. Goodbye. Laura asks, do you live on the border of Cavan? Just your accent doesn't sound like Leitrim. Laura, I don't live on the border of Cavan, but I do live on the border of Sligo. I live on the border of Donegal, and I live on the border, to a smaller extent, of Fermanagh. Hence this much of an accent. Hence me being from Leitrim, proudly, but not having a true Leitrim accent. But then again, what is a true Leitrim accent? So I'm a mix of primarily Donegal, so primarily Leitrim. Then the next biggest mix would be Donegal. Then there'd be a spicing of Sligo, and there'd be a spicing of Fermanagh. Hence why you have that accent. Van asks, this is her Instagram name, would you like to bring the Bop Bop Baby Bus live like a podcast? Yes, absolutely. If iRadio would give me the money, we would have a real life Bop Bop Baby Bus. But they won't. Because buses are expensive. I probably will do it myself. I'll probably get a bus. I'll probably slap some artwork on it that says it's a Bop Bop Baby Bus. And I'll drive that. And finally, Rad, what has been your favourite TV show of all time? Oh, Rad. Can I be stereotypical and say Father Ted? A few of the early series of The Simpsons are brilliant. Black Books. IT Crowd. Three of those are Graham Linehan, who has a questionable record on social media, to say the least. On that note, that concludes today's podcast. If you've enjoyed today, please give it a 5-star review. Tell your mates about it. I hope I've done an alright job of explaining to you the Phillip Schofield situation. If not, always open to feedback. You know where to get me? Dave@daveduke.ie. Mr. Dave Duke on Instagram. Till we speak again, take it savage, handy.